You know what? If you want to catch Jinkx's seasons of Drag Race, well, it's probably on at this point. Between Bewitched and Brady Bunch, season 5 of Drag Race.
Bewitched and Brady Bunch.
I want to take you back to season 5. A peanut farmer was in the White House.
I wore these culottes then, and will you believe it? They still fit.
She got a big ass then, she's got a big ass now. Hi, it's me, Trixie Mattel, and welcome back to the Pit Stop, the show where we recap RuPaul's Drag Race Season 13. Today we are on episode 14, and our guest is not only talented, she's also my boyfriend's favorite drag queen. It's Jinkx Monsoon.
Happy Ostara, Trixie. I mean, I guess it's a belated Ostara. I apologize.
If you can't Ostara yourself, how the hell are you gonna Ostara someone else?
Ostara? I don't even know her.
And what is that? Is that Black Friday for Satanists? What is it?
Yeah, basically. No, it's the beginning of spring. A happy spring. It's sprung, mama. Spring has sprung, mama.
So, Jinkx, how are you?
I'm pretty damn good. I can't complain. You know, it's been a hell of a pandemic, but I rolled up my sleeves and hitched up my boots and kept working through it all, and I got married. My God, who knew?
Congratulations. I attended your Zoom wedding.
Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, it was not the wedding either of us foresaw for ourselves, but it ended up being the absolute perfect wedding, you know. Something about not having to actually interact with anyone made it a really special day.
I can actually really relate to that. I woke up a little late for your wedding, but I turned it on Zoom. Everybody was all dressed up. I was sort of the informal drunk uncle because I was in my pajamas making a smoothie, and Tammy Brown was singing Love Pinata. Tammy Brown performed at her wedding on Zoom. If Tammy Brown was not available that day, would you have moved the whole wedding?
I think Tammy Brown's presence was a little bit more important than mine that day. You know, you always talk about how your partner's favorite queen is me. My partner's favorite queen is Tammy Brown, and I think that's the way it should be. I don't think I could marry someone who was my fan, you know?
Yes, I think it's the mark of a healthy relationship. When I realized you were his favorite, I was like, I see it. I was like, I get it. So Jinkx, the finale is 2 weeks away. Now that the end is near, what are your thoughts on season 13 as a whole?
I loved the whole of season 13. You know, it was really a great season. It was such a strong cast. The challenges were fresh and exciting, and they had to overcome the COVID obstacles of it. So they had to fight that much harder to make it that brilliant of a season. So really kudos to every last queen this season. It really was a landmark season.
I'm actually happy this season was a little longer. I mean, if there was a time in American history for a season to be just a little bit longer than the other ones, this was the time. I mean, come on.
We needed it.
Imagine
watching
the queer...
it,
Go ahead.
Oh, go.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the only thing that was difficult this year was watching season 13 and Drag Race UK at the same time. I would be watching 13 and being like, where's Ahura?
It's crazy regionally. Like, imagine if RuPaul came to Wisconsin for Drag Race, and instead of saying like, you all right, babes, he was just like, oh, hey. Every time he walked up to
you
us.
better work, y'all.
Hey, girl, you were slaying on the runway. You better sissy that walk. Sissy That Walk could be a sickening Asian fusion restaurant.
Sissy That Walk and Grill.
Oh, God. Let's just say the elephant in the room. You were on Drag Race somewhat a while ago. Does it feel like it was 100 years ago?
Yes. I mean...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was quite a while ago. But I think at its core, Drag Race has remained a celebration of people who have otherwise been marginalized, historically speaking. And I love to see every new season of Girls because you always get some people who are just really celebrating their uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And charisma. Hell, throw charisma in there.
I hate you. Let's get into this. Last week, Rosé got her third win, and sadly, my queen, Olivia Lux, has sashayed away. What do you think about this top 4?
Oh, I think it's a brilliant top 4. They are truly the strongest of their bunch, you know? This was a really strong season. I mean, we had to go like 4 or 5 episodes before we even eliminated one person.
I know.
So that's how strong this season was.
Yeah.
So to make it to the top 4, I mean, I think everyone on this season has brilliant careers ahead of them, but the top 4, you really had to fight your way to the top this season.
Is there another queen from this season you could have seen squeak into that top 4?
I really thought Utica would make it to the top 4. She was one of my favorites, you know.
She has some Jinkx energy, don't you think?
Yeah, she's got some Jinkx energy, some Tammy Brown energy.
I have to ask, you were in the top 4, of course, with Relaska Talks. What are your memories of that final episode?
The top 4 episode, you know, I think in that moment I really had to just say, okay, kid, here's your one chance, Fancy, don't let me down. I had to sing it to myself.
Right.
I had to be both mother and Fancy in that moment.
And Reba.
And Reba. I had to be all 3. There had to be 3 of me inside of me to combat Relaska Talks. But you know, I always say this, and it's not just me blowing smoke. We had a very strong friendship by that point. The competition was real. And by that point, you know, I really loved those girls, even though I was ready to take them down one by one.
The next day, the queens talk about what they would do with their prize money. Candy apparently wants a boat. Jinkx, what did you do with your $100,000?
Oh my gosh, it's so boring, Trixie. You don't want to know.
Girl, tell me.
I think I bought a computer.
Whoa, rich, move over.
Here's the biggest thing is going into Drag Race. I think I was only a year out of college. I was dirt poor. I was working as a janitor.
Didn't you used to work at Taco Bell?
Not Taco Bell, no.
Oh.
I used to work at this weird chain that I don't even know it was around anymore called Sandella's Flatbread. You ever heard of it? Me neither. Anyway, I was dirt poor going into Drag Race. You can kind of tell at a couple moments in my season.
A couple moments? I'm sorry, are you under the illusion that there was 2 days that you were in burlap and the rest you were in furs and diamonds? Is that what you think? We got to get into this challenge because we were living.
Yeah.
Ru enters the workroom and announces that for the final challenge of the season, the queens will be writing original lyrics and performing in the music video of RuPaul's new single, Lucky. Jinkx, what are your memories of making the video for The Beginning in season 5?
Oh, we were all so cracked by then. You know, I remember Roxy going in to film the music video, and I looked over at Roxy and I'm like, oh, she knows what she's doing. And me and Alaska in our weird ass wigs, we were both wearing really weird wigs that day.
Yes, and you were making choices. And also, we talked about it last episode, by the end of Drag Race, you also don't have a lot of drag left.
By that point, I had vetoed some of my drag out of the competition. I was like, I haven't worn it yet, and we're gonna keep it that way. I think this was just the all-time best girl group challenge in Drag Race history.
I loved it.
The song was amazing. The direction of the music video was amazing. The cohesiveness, all of them in their color-blocked lingerie. It was just brilliant. The lyrics were brilliant. The performances were brilliant. No one stood out as a weak link to me, you know?
It honestly, I loved the song, and I don't listen to a lot of club music, so this is probably one of the first songs that I found like accessible.
You know, neither you or I kind of went the dance party club track.
Mostly because no one wants to see us dance.
You know,
The queens prepare by writing lyrics, and Rosé has revealed that according to her, she is a rap star. Did you see that journey for her? I
guess I gotta take her at her word.
She said, I actually have done rapping before. I said, did you work at the Nordstrom in November? It's like, I didn't see. She was like, I actually on social media did rapping, and you were. I heard you scream laughing watching it.
Yeah, no. I mean, anyone can do anything.
That's such a read. That's such a read. That, you know what that energy is? That's the energy of, well, I guess there's room for everyone. Let's say that.
No, you know what it is? You know what it really, really is I think I get the most competitive with the girls who are strong in similar areas as I am. I know I'm going to get along great with her in the dressing room someday. We're gonna kiki kaka backstage and we're gonna cackle. But then I watch her on Drag Race and I'm like, don't you come for my gig.
Yeah, I feel comfortable around drag queens that I think are amazing in ways that in no way threaten me. I think we have that in common. It's part of why I love you. You are hilarious. In a way I would, but I never, the joke you say on stage is never the joke I would have said.
And you know, I can say the same thing about you. You're blonde. I don't wear blonde hair.
Candy mentions that even though she has only one win, she's still just as qualified as the other queens to win. What do you think about that?
I think it's good that Candy has that kind of confidence in herself. And actually, I think Candy's confidence in herself and her self-assuredness is her biggest strength.
RuPaul also thinks Candy is hilarious. Is that a helpful benefit to getting you through the end of the show?
Oh, well, I mean, it's not a deterrent to have...
I don't write the questions, you snarky bitch. God.
It doesn't hurt to have the head judge of all judges, the Grand High Witch, on your side, you know?
Right. She was the Grand High Witch and you're the Supreme. You're Myrtle Snow.
I'm Myrtle Snow and I'm comfortable with that, okay?
We see the queens have had a Tic Tac lunch with Michelle and RuPaul. Did they do the Tic Tac in season 5?
I remember seeing those Tic Tacs on my season.
Did you ever take the hint?
The hint. I don't know what you're talking about. I believe they cut it from my season, but I did pull out a crystal and I had RuPaul bless one of my crystals. Let's see if she's behind me. Oh, she is! Hold on one second.
What?
This is
a celebrity moment.
This is true. This is the crystal. I don't believe it aired, but I pulled this crystal out and I had RuPaul bless my crystal. I used to take this with me whenever I would meet the legendary queens of drag.
That's so weird. I don't remember doing it.
I don't travel with it anymore.
RuPaul points out that Gottmik has excelled in both fashion and in comedy. Do you agree that Gottmik's run on the show has been well-rounded?
It's really just fantastic because Gottmik brings it up in this episode. Being on the show as a trans contestant and then just being yourself and having the amount of fun that Gottmik had, that's all we need from you. We don't need you to be the voice of every single last trans person.
Right.
No one can be the voice for everyone. You know, we shouldn't be asking that of our
Right.
icons and advocates.
We don't expect Candy to be the voice of every Afro-Latino person in the Bronx. We don't expect Simone to be the voice of African-American gay people from Arkansas. It's like, we need to have reasonable expectations and value somebody like Gottmik telling their story. Not everyone's story.
Absolutely.
Their story.
She shined the entire season.
And of course, Simone is beloved by both the judges and the fandom. What do you think it is about Simone that makes her so appealing?
I'll tell you what makes her so appealing to me. She's said it multiple times, and it's the best way to explain it. She's unapologetic. Simone just knows the story she's telling. She knows who she is and why she's there, and she hasn't apologized for it, you know? I thought I'm like reaching the age where I'm starting to get bitter and jaded and like, oh, you queens nowadays don't know how good you have it.
You're Joan Rivers in this scenario?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Simone to me is really a perfect example of where drag is headed and the progress we've made as a community and the progress we've made for the LGBTQ plus community in the mainstream context.
The queens get to choreography. Gottmik, like all of us, is fully in love with Jamal Sims. Who do you think out of these queens has the most rhythm and who has the least?
I think Rosé has the most experience in this field to draw from, but I was living for Gottmik because she brought so much enthusiasm and joy. I'd rather watch a joyful performance than a step-perfect performance.
The next day we see the queens getting ready for the final challenge and they're talking in front of the makeup mirror about how much they all love each other. Would you say this is some different energy from how the queens felt about each other at this point in some earlier seasons?
Yeah, but I think it makes sense, because of the year
Yeah.
that was going on around them while they were filming.
I will say I like when the queens hate each other, and I was a little nauseated by the love in the room. I was like, we get it, we all love each other. I mean, I was just hoping Candy Muse would break the silence, like, you know what, bitch? Like, I need that. Let's talk about Lucky. What did you think of this final video?
Oh, it was just brilliant. I know I'm not really picking this episode apart because I just really thought it was that great. The song was a 10, their looks were 10s, the background dancers getting progressively more naked was a big hit with me. And I thought it was also kind of brilliant commentary on what we've had to deal with in the pandemic.
Yeah, I love something like Lucky, where on the surface level, it's just a fun song about how lucky it is to just be us, whatever. On the deeper level, it's like, yeah, bitch, we are all lucky to be here in the present period.
Yeah.
The lingerie was great. I loved the hook. The lighting, the styling, RuPaul popping in the very almost like B-52s spoken word
Yes.
sections. It really could have been a Jinkx song. I'm telling you, it was so, I loved it. Who stood out to you the most, you think?
Gottmik. Yeah, Gottmik was my favorite in the challenge.
I think so too. She really served. It's the final runway of the season, and the category is Drag Excellence. Let's go through the looks. First up, Gottmik. This black and white polka dot skin color fantasy.
This almost, when I saw it, it read to me as a Trixie Mattel look.
I died.
So Gottmik really, really stood out. And, we haven't seen the other girls yet. We've just seen Gottmik, so, like, the bar was just, like, set here from the get-go.
Really chic. A little bit Manila energy, where it's, like, chic and comedic. Campy without being too, like, brunch drag. Up next, we have Candy Muse. What did you think of Candy Muse?
I think the hair was absolutely stunning. The dress was not my favorite combination of colors, but I liked the concept. And when you hear her talking about why she chose this dress, it's like, perfect, you do you. It wasn't my preference, but I have nothing against it. I thought she looked lovely. It was probably my least favorite of the looks on the runway.
What did you think of Rosé's look, her final look, the tartan?
Again, not my favorite. It's this like catch-22. It's this double-edged sword because you see her hit the runway in tartan and you're like, oh, tartan again. But at the same time, if she wouldn't have worn tartan, you would have been like, girl, it's your last runway. Why aren't you wearing tartan? You love tartan,
I thought it was pretty. It was a little bit sleeping bag with a belt, but it was fine. I didn't live, laugh, love. And then finally, Miss Simone in this,
This was my favorite look on the runway. What I loved is that it looked like a full ball gown at first, and then she revealed it was just the sleeves were creating that illusion. So you got like this sleek look when she lifted her arms, and then when she pulled her arms down, it was like a full ball gown.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing. It was an amazing garment. And then her hair was fantastic.
The hair!
She consistently blows me away on the runway, and this was no exception.
I'm very into a world where we encourage protective hairstyles like that to be like elevated. That's not the hair you have to wear at home. Like that can be something you wear to a fancy event. It was so chic.
There's no reason why she can't elevate these cultural iconic things into the world of drag the way that she has. She's just, it's just blown me away. And unapologetic, you know, she brings it up again on the runway, and it's just, it's the perfect mantra for what Simone has brought to this season.
Okay, Jinkx, which was your favorite look?
Simone's was my favorite look. I think this top 4 look was just
oh my God, it was so beautiful. It was like so delicate. She looked like a sculpture. I have to say, that Gottmik black and white look was probably one of my favorite runways of all of Drag Race. When she turned that corner, I was just like, oh! The flesh tone cutouts, like what? Which look was your least favorite if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick a least favorite, it would probably be Candy Muse, but that's only because I could never see myself wearing that look. That's how I judge people, is by whether or not I would want to wear something they wore.
Well, honestly, I'm not a fashion person, and that is sort of the only way to, do you like it or not? I mean, would you wear it or not? It's okay to say just wouldn't wear it. I didn't like the Candy one very much either. I do like some of the other stuff she's worn this season better. Honestly, I think her entrance look was stronger than this look. The denim with the boombox, like, even that was stronger. The emotion was high during judges' critique. Jinkx, tell the viewers what it's like to be there at the very end of the competition, explaining why you are America's Next Drag Superstar.
Oh, gosh, I think I blocked it out of my memory. No, this is the penultimate moment, which I think is actually more scary than the finale. You know, is this moment of like, am I gonna be considered for the win? You know, it's like, this is your very, very last chance. So it's this weird mix of wanting to celebrate while also knowing you still have to fight.
Yeah. I thought they were a little too nervous. I was like, this is the season where no one ever gets eliminated. You're all gonna be fine.
You never know, you never know.
Joey J might win.
You really never know, because we have seen moments where it's like, all 4 of you possess, wait, actually, you go sit down. All 3 of you. You know what I love about Drag Race, and this is why I think they get away with the sappier moments, is because they were having a really heartfelt conversation. They were having their heart-to-heart moment while they're painting their beard orange.
Yes. Candy had orange all over her face, and you were screaming laughing.
I was scream laughing because it's the combination of having this really heartfelt conversation between the 4 of them. Rosé's like literally orange from eyelid to chin. Candy Muse has got her color dots all over.
You were really laughing at these people.
I couldn't breathe.
They're like, well, I believe in myself, and I can't believe I'm so wonderful. And you're like, ha, ha.
But that's what I love about Drag Race.
So after the judges' critiques, the queens lip sync one at a time to I Learned from the Best by Whitney Houston. What did you think of this twist in the final lip sync?
I thought it was pretty brilliant. It's hard enough to share the stage with one person when you have to lip sync for your life.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine having 3. So I bet it had them shaking in their boots, but for me as an audience member, it was really cool to watch them each have a moment to own the stage in the way that they would. You know?
I agree. Did any queen stand out to you the most?
Probably Simone, because I love a gag. I love that Simone had the Whitney Houston handkerchief.
Yes, I love the Whitney Houston sweat rag.
That's all it took.
After the lip sync, RuPaul announces that all 4 queens are moving on to the finale. Do you think that was the right call?
I think so, yeah. Because I was trying to think, I thought maybe just to keep us on our toes, this year we might just have a top 3. But then I was thinking, who would go? You know? I think one of the things that's most enjoyable when we get to this point in the competition is that no 2 queens are serving the same meal, you know? I think they all 4 represent a different aspect of drag that's worth celebrating. So let's have them all celebrate it at the end. Like, you know, this could be seen as a very mushy-gushy episode.
Right.
But I think this year, this point in time, let's take all the moments we can to celebrate, you know?
Fine. Fine, we'll be nice. This is the lovey-dovey
Blah,
year.
blah,
Blah, blah, blah. The next season, we're going back to being absolute bitches.
No.
Jinkx, we've made it to the end, and I've asked every single guest this season this question. Who do you think is going to win season 13 of RuPaul's Drag Race?
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, if I'm talking from my gut, if I'm speaking from me waters,
Your waters?
I really think it's going to be a toss-up between Gottmik and Simone.
Yeah.
And it's hard to pick one person because this is a very strong top four. And I know that sounds like a diplomatic answer, but really, even if they weren't the strongest competitors in my eyes, those are the two that it's gonna be a toss-up between the two of them.
I feel exactly the same way. I really do. They're both great winners. Jinkx, thank you for joining me here today. You honestly are one of the most talented people I know, and I'm so happy to have you on the pit stop. You are so incredible. Please tell people where they can find you.
Oh, well, you can follow me on all my socials. I'm the Jinkx on Instagram because someone stole my name. I guess someone stole the Jinkx Monsoon handle before I could get my hands on it. But I am the Jinkx on Instagram. That's JINKX. You gotta use the K because I paid extra for it and it's very expensive.
Oh my God.
Watch the Jinkx and Dela holiday special on Hulu. You do not have to wait for Christmas. You can watch it year round, you know. I'm sure all those Hot Topic kids out there weren't waiting for December to watch Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's not October and you always look like it's Halloween. Reading, shade from reading. And I have to say, check out the Ginger Snapped. I love that record, specifically that ballad.
Oh yeah!
That ballad, This Town. Is that what it's called?
Thank you, yes.
Oh
This
my God, I
Town,
cry
yes.
every time. Check out that record. And thank you for watching The Pit Stop. Join us back here on the RuPaul's Drag Race YouTube channel in 2 weeks for the finale of season 13 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I never felt bullied on my season. Some people refer to my season as a season where there was a lot of bullying. I never felt bullied. We're all drag queens. You know, I was used to having to like bolster myself as a drag queen by that point in my life. And I never felt bullied. But in the moments where I was feeling a little less sure of myself, I always reminded myself, but remember that moment when you cracked RuPaul up talking like Little Edie, or remember those moments where you got RuPaul to like lose her breath laughing? Those are my biggest accomplishments from my season because, I mean...
Right.
Look over here. The Drag Race YouTube channel is always bringing amazing content, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing.